انا اتعلمت ايش
Welcome to GDG Kuwait Meetup. My name is Mohammed Amir. I'm a founder and one of the organizers of the group. Today we have a great talk lined up for you by the engineer who doesn't like to be titled as engineer, but engineer Abdullah Alhusainan. It's going to be about material design. I'll give you just a brief about Abdullah Alhusainan. He is a computer engineer graduate from Kuwait University, and he's a programmer. If you have Android, you must have used one of his apps, which is Kuwait Times, who we co-programmed with the music activities for the iOS, but he is an Android programmer, and also Islamic apps and a large number of apps. This app has between between 500,000 and 1 million downloads just for this app. So he has a lot of experience in the UI and applications. A couple of housekeeping notes. Just if you responded to the invite on Google Plus, you can talk more than use share the picture. And if you're going to keep your use these hashtags. Now to Abdullah with the talk.
How many designers do you have here? That's 100? Designer. How many developers? Okay. This talk will be mainly design for some developers, and there will be a bit of technical side. The talk flow will be first we'll talk about what is material design, then material design components, and how will it change the thinking of UX, the website for your application, and how to implement the material design. What tools to use to material design is a visual language applying the nature of physics, a physical world, into the virtual world. We will talk now about the principles of material design. Material is the water, as a metaphor. As you can see here, this paper is here. You can see these are boxes. This is the material. Because it's a metaphor, so it can be changed, the shape. Okay? And it's a physical thing, it's a paper. But it includes the imagination and the magic of the virtual world. Surfaces and natural. For example, if you see these two things, which one of them will you press or click? Yeah, it's obvious that this is the button. So when they built the material design, they were thinking of these things. Dimensionality affords interaction. If you see two things on top of each other. So the closer, the one closer to you is the one important, more important to you. And one adaptive design, when you start building your UI, you will build one thing and thinking of the other screen sizes. For example, you can see this small screen size. It's a mobile small device, and this is a tablet and a desktop. The views will be different in screen size, in different screen sizes, but the main components are the same. Content is bold, graphic, and intentional. So bold will give you focus, will grab attention of the user. And when using white spaces and different colors, it will be a clear space, so you can focus or know what's the difference intuitively. Color, surface, and iconography emphasize actions. So if you see these two colors, immediately that this thing is pressable, or you can press it. And it shows the user, it gives the user a way to users initiate changes. See this small circle? This is a click of the user. And if you can see all the other dots will move from this point and continue the move. So user is the prime mover of the user interface. These dots? It's only to show you the movement. It starts here, and all of these dots will come to this point. So it starts from your finger. Yes, it will animate from your pressing point and go away. Or, yeah. Yes. Animation changes into stages, but in one environment. As you can see, these are different stages of animation. For example, let's take this stage. When you press this floating action button, and take all the space and change from UI. But it will remove things. You will see a feedback. As you can see this feedback, so it will give the user the sense of moving things. Now with the components of the material design. First, we have two main components, the paper and the ink. As you can see, this is the paper. Paper is colorless, okay? And it can be a rectangle, circle, and square with rounded corners. And it shouldn't be a star or a triangle. And as you can see, the depth, there is always a depth of 1 dpi, one independent pixel. This is not
pixels, right?
Move. It's not square. That's no. It's not square. It's not square.
What's wrong with square? It just tends to distract you.
Yes. Yes. You can, but this is the way they put it. They introduce a Z depth with the interface. So seeing green shadows between two papers will give the user the impression that they are moving independently. So for example, this floating action button, if you press it, you will not be shocked or things change because it's independent. And using depth helps user understand how your app works and how content is organized. For example, if you have a contacts app, you will have a list of contacts, and when you click one cell of the list, a card will show up and it will be closer to the screen. So this is more important than the the second component is the ink. The ink is the color, and it can be in any shape. As you can see, these all can take the whole paper or shape of. When they structure the interface, they use the grid system because the grid system gives you the flexibility of changing things easier and like making them bigger or smaller. And it will help in different screen sizes when you use the user interface. When structuring your app, first you start with paper. You put things together. For example, I made something here. You put papers together, and you will see how things will look. Then you will do your animation from this paper. For example, if this button is here, you can move it easily anywhere. And then you use the ink to put the colors and the content into the. All the components are there with the new user interface. Tabs, the toolbar with the drawer menu, and the search bar.
How should the phone be? Should they be a layer on top of the paper, or like embedded inside part of as part of which one wants? For example, you have a search bar.
The search bar?
Yes, the search bar.
There will be a paper, and on top of it are the
So it's same different form.
yes.
And the search we should be using some shape.
Not always. For example, if you use it with the toolbar, it will be inside it. And it's not good to use many layers. It will be cluttery and it will distract you. As you can see here, this is a one app example. And you can see are the same. So it gives you flexibility. For example, to move this button on top of tablets or desktops, and the toolbar would be more the height of it will be more. To give the color, because if you use a small toolbar, it's all white. So And if there's a list here, on mobile it's better to be one list. Yeah, better list, for example. But on tablets or other stuff, you can use a different component for each. Then you have the gallery app. For example, in mobile, you can see the lists. And if you have a list that is easily, you can easily get information from it, you need to use it with a normal list without pip. And also on grid, for example, you see here, it's better to use it as a grid. Don't use for each image a paper alone with the shadow. Here we have information is displayed depends on the context. For example, if you have a small screen, you get small information, and if you have a bigger screen, you will see the whole information. Depends on the context of the system. Here's the contacts app. As you can see on mobile, the card will take the whole screen. Right? Yeah, you have the list, and when you press on one of the contacts, you will get the other view. But on tablets or desktops, it will be a card on top of all the other components, even the toolbar. Because this is the main information you need now. That will take your focus. Now I will show you the components. We have the first component is the bottom sheet. Bottom sheets. Maybe they took it from the iOS. If you want to share an image of something, you get a menu from the bottom of the icon. So this is the same. You are on iOS user. When you want to share about an image, you will get the bottom sheet. Yeah, from the bottom, right? Yeah. So this is the same. Bottom sheet. Yes, bottom sheet. We are Android developers, so we'll stick with it. The buttons, we have three types of buttons. The floating action button, and the raised button, and the flat button. The main use of this button is, for example, if you have a navigation application. So this button will be used as an action. Yes, the main action of the app will use this button. So you don't need to use it, or it shouldn't be used in many places.
The restaurant reviewing app, it's hide
For example, yes.
yeah.
But if you
Yes.
want to choose the name, so
Yes.
another activity, other content.
Yes. But you shouldn't use it for like copy text or other stuff. And it can be changed into different forms. The raised button, you can use it in views where there are many components, and you want to show the button. For example, you can see this application, app settings, for example. So they use the raised button here and not the flat button. Because if you use the flat buttons, this is a flat button.
What's the difference between the flat button? What does it represent?
It's this, from the material design point of view, this use a paper and ink. This button only use ink, no paper. Okay, but from a user point of view, if you have this application and you have this text, okay, and this is the text, right? You will not. You will be confused. Yeah, you will not differentiate between a text and a button. Yes, you need to show the button to give it a focus. But here,
There are no.
it's a dialogue or a warning. The fab is not used commonly, and the others are used more than the fab. It's nothing actually. For example, if you have an inline, hold on.
Yeah.
If you have a view and you want to put inline buttons, you use the floating buttons. And if you will use the buttons on the bottom always, you can use the flat buttons. Yeah. See, we have here for example, the contacts application. When you want to add a new contact, the main action of this view is to take a picture of the contact. And here, in the file system application, you will add a file or a directory. One, this is the difference. Which is better?
The one on the left.
Yeah.
So they're showing you not.
Yes.
There are some shape, like the sizes and the pixels of every button. There are width and heights.
Yes.
That you should stick to.
If you use the bottom views that they provide, it will be the same size. Or sometimes it will change. Content, for example, what will be height? It will be on the text tag.
So can I make it a little bit higher, the button?
You can.
And I will not be going out of the rules of the.
I mean, you don't need to use all of these, but it's better to use them. As I think the designer can help us with this. To use the default sizes of the UI that they provide. Is it better than, or should I stick to it, or do my own sizes and my own UI components?
Then, what's the best? If you really going with it, already there. It's fine.
Yes. So the user will be as if he's in his home. He's used to these components, these views, these buttons. So it's better for your app to stick to this thing. So the user can easily use it.
They just mentioned they have some sizes.
They're mostly measuring the touch of the thumb so it's no smaller. Because now most of the surface is touch. So it has to be within a minimum of 34 pixels height and width. It can be bigger, but it can be small.
We have the card view. This is a new component in Android or you can, if you used Google Keep, they use the cards in this Google Keep application. Cards are used when you want to put different components together. For example, as I showed you before, the photo gallery application, they don't, because they are all photos, and it's better to keep them like.
Okay.
Yes, but here because every card, every image card is different. Yes. So use cards. This is a different another use of cards. Okay. See, if you have a quick scannable list, it's better to keep it as before, because it is easier to for the user to get the information while he's scrolling. But if you use this, maybe it will be distracted a bit. This is the gallery application. It's better to use without cards than to use with cards.
This is each one. This is the first one that we provide. You can see the left one is a better version than the right one.
Yes.
The left one is the better practice. The right one doesn't follow the right. Oh, okay, fine. That's what it is.
You can do this, but for the usability, it's better to use. Yeah. They introduce also chips, which are used. Chips. This view. And you can use it like this. There are many view components here. I will show you the tabs now. These are the tabs of the material design. This is on mobile, and this is on the desktop.
Yes. Did they release some framework or something to help us get this?
Yes, you can use Polymer. And I'll show you a tool to use the interface to build your website interface using material design. Our material design will reflect your thinking of when you build your application or your website. You need to be flexible, and you need to think once on your website and the desktop version. Sorry, the tablet version. So you think once, and you do your UI, and that's it. Because the components are all the same, but only the views will be changed. And now we'll show you the material design tool. You can go to the website, Polymer. If anyone has a laptop now. And we want to do a competition between you guys. The best user interface, we have a gift. The best user interface, let's say gift.
Who did something?
We
have a designer in front of us.
Yes.
You want to go, just give it to me.
Just give it to him now, so at least we know what it is.
Teams of 2.
Seems 200. How about that?
While it's loading,
Let's do it.
Polymer project.org, then scroll down to the design of it. Polymer, inshallah, we need to have a talk about Polymer.
Need a weekend.
Yes, and we will not talk about it today. And I will show you the design of it.
I think you can read about it. That's what he said.
Yes.
It's good.
This is the tool. This is the website basically. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
when I designed it, how do I know what's the resolution? If I want a site fixed, not fully, all right.
Okay. This is the full screen. Okay. I don't know what's the pixel of it, but it will take the whole screen. Okay, so you can design your.
I want to design a mobile rather than a tablet. Is there a template to select?
For mobile, I'm not sure. Okay, because we use libraries for Android. But for the web, you can use this tool for only designing the UI. But we code, we can take the HTML code of it, but the real code we need to write. We can do it and then take it and give it to the developer. But the UI will be the same. The look of it will be. You can see
This is for mobile apps as well as web.
as a user interface design, it could be the same. But as a code, no. But fancy website. But a native app, I'm not sure. You can see we have here the components.
What is it?
Page. You can come here and choose, for example, the facade. Okay? The facade will give you a side menu and a toolbar with a page. Facade.
Wait, before?
Record.
Yeah.
Step one, sorry.
How do you create one more on one page?
I didn't fix that. So now we have a toolbar with the left menu. Okay. If you resize the,
Can you explain basically what this polymer?
You said because you're saying there is a coda behind it, and
Yes.
it looks like
Okay. It's an HTML code, but this code, for example, if you want to change, if you want to move from one page to another, you need to write some code inside. Okay. I just used this tool 2 days ago, so I'm not sure if you can link two pages with this. Yeah.
On the web, you need to add any components. If you want to use components, let's say April mobile or any of those components, you have to usually include a library, a UI library, and then you write either your JavaScript code or your HTML code on the page to render that component. So every time you run your page, all of those elements should come together. There is a new way of doing that. So you want to use furthermore. So instead of having everything run on just one set, one level, they made something called where you can have the two component elements in one file, and you can include it in your page, just one file. Okay. So you don't need to include any JavaScript or anything, just include the HTML. Right? Something like fonts for that element. And immediately that tag will be populated with the JavaScript that we package with the component. So it helps with distributing components. Polymer is a project that bridge the gap between this vision of having those components and the reality. Browsers doesn't have one of those things like external entry. No one can use an external from outside. So you just it doesn't have anything like external thing. So many components are not available in most browsers. So Polymer or polyfills, they fill that gap.
after completing a project with the Polymer.
We run on most projects. Firefox and Chrome support it. That Polymer project is supported by those major developers. And I'm sure also Opera, but I'm not sure about
Safari.
IE and Safari. I think Safari also is it's what is still there are components that might be slower than speed is easier. That's all. What? Yeah. I think they have a dispute around things like Shadow DOM. But if you HTML5 was coming up, and you had the tag where you put the type of tag was a number. Mobile would show the numeric rather than thin keyboard. Yeah. But not all browsers supported this. So there were libraries that you could include that modified the rendering template of the browser so that it would be able to handle the new attributes of the tag. This was back in HTML5 days until browsers caught up, and now you hardly need to use it because most browsers have a pretty good support of HTML5. And they're not all fully compliant, but they're getting. Similarly with the web components, it's a similar idea. Basically, if
want to today, for example, put a Google Maps map with a pin on your website, you have to first include the Google Maps library. Then you have to write a div that defines where the map is. Then you have to write the JavaScript to have the latitude and longitude and then the pin, and then you have to trigger it to place it on the map. And that map is and JavaScript that's required, and you can include it automatically. So it's kind of enriching the tag set that you have with HTML right now to enable components. So that's what Polymer does is, see, the thing I'm describing is called a web component. But in order for you to use this, the browser needs to be intelligent enough to recognize things like now from the engines so that these components will work. Eventually, you'll no longer need to use Polymer. Because as the browser engine gets updated, you will rely less and less on Polymer and more on native web. That's the idea. So things like this, for example, if you want to display a menu, or you want to display a floating point, you could go and write all that HTML and JavaScript by yourself. But rather than that, you can just drag a component in. And the people behind the controls already know how best to render it. That's the idea. Okay. And now, back to your rendering schedule program. That's the idea. Polymer is just a library. You include it on top, and then your HTML code is the web components. Then is not just like currently you like jQuery mobile. You try to use some other mobile UI. You have namespace clashes. You cannot join them together. But with Polymer, you can do. And you can go to component vendors. Okay. No, when you're right now, if you develop a desktop application or a mobile application, in your UI, your IDE, you have the components. You have the menu, you click it, you drag it, and then the system knows how to do the menu. It's exactly the same idea, but for the web. So you will have eventually you'll come up with vendors who are selling UI component library that follow the web components. No, exactly. The tag will know all that it means. All you do is you include the tag and you just you will not get into JavaScript unless you want to publish your own component. That's the beauty of it. And this work of the offline, for example, and in the design, you can put the tag, you can pass attributes, and the attributes will be passed to the template that you have included. And with the component, it will be designed. You can follow a 3-minute tutorial on Polymer. That's going to do a lot better job than us trying to explain. So let's get back to it. It's the next one. It's the next thing. So this is my website now. I have Google Maps, and I have a calculator. It's a tool calculator. Then the interaction. Just what's the structure? Yes. No. And it's responsive. What I did is I came to, for example, components and tried Google Maps. And now I have Google Maps. That's it. velocity calculator, you can find it in paper, calculator. And there are many more components. Buttons, ready buttons, progress bar. And if you look at the source, yes, you see there is no JavaScript anymore. All he's doing is, you notice it says, it says Google Map. This is the map. Yeah, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. You just put this down.
This word.
Yeah. This is the first section. At the end, you're just writing HTML. With that tag and the import on top, the browser has all the information it needs to render that entire map. So previously, we didn't use a polygon or a because you have to JavaScript into Google Map.js. You have to have a script tag where you initialize the Google Map object with the directory for you, and the pin drop and everything, and then that error with it. Now we just type all this. You remove all that, and you just write this. You can create it. You can change the word.
So polymer element will be recognized by rootkit and other.
It's not Polymer. Polymer is a library that enables the.
But these tags are already added to the browser.
These tags are. These tags are important. That's the web component.
Okay.
But you see this, that import, the browsers don't know what to do. So the Polymer library enables them to understand what's going on in this. So because if I write this HTML code and I take away the Polymer part, the browser will not have it. It doesn't know how to write.
When something happens to Polymer.
There's no such thing as something happens to Polymer. It's a library.
You can put the files.
It's like jQuery.
You can put the files on your screen.
Yeah,
These are recognized by the button.
these are not at this point recognized.
They're recognized by the code.
Polymer knows how to do this.
The browser at the time.
Polymer is nice. Very interesting. Just like in Bootstrap, we have the data tag. Yeah. And then browsers don't know what to do with the data tag. The Bootstrap knows because they include the Bootstrap class. Similar. Eventually, what will happen is
Risky.
no, because eventually what will happen is the Polymer and the web component part separate as browsers will unveil the web component. We need to do it. Yeah. The HTML of the real website or no? The components HTML? Yeah. Yeah, you can add it on the template itself. The template itself is nice. It's just and there's an entire section on how to create your own components. You can have a standard, for example, you can have a standard component to accept any colors. Everywhere you need to use it, you don't have to do anything, just say colors. And then all the fields will show, the errors will show.
And you modify.
These are components. These are the scaffold. Google Maps.
It's slower.
Okay, but if you're using the designer to this, you export it, right? It's like you're using an emulator. This is it.
Who wants nobody said.
So can you go up a little bit? This is the template. That's render. Scroll up. See the template tag? This is the template that's rendered. So this is what's rendered in place of the tag. If you scroll down, that the JavaScript that executes at the end. So this is basically the component. It's finished. Those are curly braces. These are the placeholders. One of like you know Java programming language? You know Java? You know Swing? Java Swing? You know Swing components? This is the same. If you want to learn more about material design, you can check google.com/design and these two YouTube videos, material design motion and material design visual style, imagery, and of course Polymer for developers. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you.